WAM and 104.9 FM. Listen in, learn something, get inspired, and laugh till you fall down. Because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you know Danielle Norwood. Information you need to totally rock the house. It's almost like your best friend and next door neighbor got a radio show. And now, here's Danielle.
Hello, and welcome to another special edition of the Danielle Norwood Show on 580 WIBWAM and FM News 104.9. Thank you for joining us today. Coming up, we're going to have a special Facebook Live edition of the show as we talk about the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's Dream Home giveaway and learn how you can be one of the first ones to reserve your tickets. Studio engineer Britt hanging out at Alpha. It is the second time this week that I've seen you. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Yeah, it's kind of weird to see you twice in 1 week. It's been a very 2021 sort of experience at these week's shows. All online, on video. We are on Facebook as we speak. What
That's
a time
right.
to be alive.
So if you wanted to see how we look in real time, it's not going to get any better than it is right now. So you can always click on WIBW News on Facebook and see me and Brandi, who's hanging out at Alpha. And we are excited. We don't do these kind of live shows all the time. So when we do, it's because there's something that we're really excited to talk about. And today is a special day for the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and Alpha Media stations because it's the beginning of the fourth year for the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. So we have a number of special guests who will give us details about the St. Jude Dream Home, but even more so, we'll hear a special story from a father who has seen firsthand and been touched by the impact that St. Jude Children's Research Hospital has had on his family. So we are getting ready to actually bring on our first guest. I want to bring in Carrie Williams, who's the development specialist for ALSAC and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and Brandi Whisler, who's the interior designer for Drippe Homes, which is the builder of this year's Dream Home. Thank you both for joining us. It's so great to see you all in real time.
Thanks for having us, Danielle.
Brandi, tell us about this year's St. Jude Dream Home, because you had pretty much everything to do with the design of the home. So talk to us about where it is and what you put together.
Yeah, so it is in Aquarian Acres, which is basically off of, you can get to it off 29th Street or off of Kuroko. If you go in off 24th and Kuroko, it's really close right there. We've been doing a lot of other homes in that neighborhood. And this year, we wanted to do something totally different. So we did kind of a fun mid-century modern look. And we just really had a lot of fun playing that up and want to show people some things that they have not seen before. So.
Okay, what are some things that we haven't seen before? Because I've seen little pictures from in and out of the house, and I'm like, ooh, this is going to be really cool. So talk to us, tease us a little bit about what we're going to see.
So first of all, we use a new product that I've never even used before on our countertops, up on our fireplace, and up on the backsplash. It's called a Porcelain Slab, which is a little bit better, higher end product than even a quartz or granite. And we can put it in a lot of different applications that we can't do in quartz or granite. So in my mind, the fireplace is the first thing you see when you walk in the door. That's going to be a huge statement piece. We've got a fun floating hearth that goes there. We did kind of a lot of blacks and golds throughout the house. I absolutely love gold finish on a metal. So we brought in a little bit of color, but mainly you're going to see a lot of like neutrals with blacks. And I really wanted the cabinetry to stand out. We did some gorgeous walnut cabinets. So, in true mid-century modern fashion, we wanted those to kind of be a statement piece in the house.
Wow. And I love some shiplap. Okay, anybody who has watched Fixer Upper and Chip and Joanna Gaines, I mean, that's their claim to fame. I didn't even know shiplap was a thing until them. And now I'm looking at this black shiplap and I'm falling in love. And I love the beams on the ceiling. Girl, you have outdone yourself.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the specs of the house. How many rooms? Talk about how many square feet, the whole nine.
So this floor plan for us has 3 bedrooms on the main level, and then it has 2 bedrooms in the basement. You have a large open great room and kitchen and dining room combo in the main area with a large laundry room that enters in off of the garage. The master bathroom is a really large master bathroom suite, some great closet space, and then a finished rec room with a bar in the basement, and then 2 other bedrooms are in the basement as well.
Wow. So how many bedrooms total?
5.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And the kitchen is a different setup than what we've seen for previous years. Talk about that.
Yeah, so one of the things with this floor plan is it's actually one of our most popular floor plans that we have, but we wanted to show that we can change up a floor plan to do whatever. So instead of doing a detached island like we typically do, we did kind of a U-shaped kitchen with a massive island. So it can seat about 5 or 6, where typically an island can only seat 3 or 4. And we kept it really open that way because it felt a little bit more mid-century modern to us.
Oh my goodness. I just love all of the special touches that you put in the house, especially the gold. I don't think I've ever seen a house that had the gold features like that. Is it kind of like your dream house that you're making come true for whoever is the big recipient this year?
This is 100% my dream house. So it is the opposite of my husband's dream house. So I can actually design something that I love and not have to worry about his input.
And there are so many wonderful sponsors that are a part of this who have given you the materials to do this. Talk about that.
Yeah, we have all of our subcontractors that we typically use really stepped up to the plate, not only the first year that we did this, but this year as well. So Midway Wholesale worked with a lot of their suppliers to donate windows and doors. Sardo Granite, who would go through all of our countertops, they're donating a massive amount of countertops, backsplash, what you'll see on the fireplace. Custom Woods, they've done it every year, but stepped up to the plate again and really donated a lot of stuff for that. Carpet One donated a lot of flooring materials and labor as well. Of course, we have our regular trade partners that are there every year: Shaw, Brizzo, Bosch, kind of the regular ones that are national partners for St. Jude.
Amazing. And I want to talk about the exterior before we get to Carrie. Tell us what the outside looks like, because the landscaping I've seen is beautiful.
Yeah, so I love kind of the Frank Lloyd Wright prairie style, where you have a lot of hipped roofs. So that is something we were trying to do with this. So give it all hipped roof, which means you have the roof line that comes down rather than the open gable, with a contemporary cut on the stone. We took the stone up a little bit higher on the front columns just to give it a really cool kind of modern mid-century vibe. Of course, we'll do some great landscaping in the front that hasn't really started too much yet. This is just kind of a digital image that kind of shows, what it may look like. But the outside of the home is, the house itself looks very much like that now. So
that's so beautiful to me. And I love the fact that the garage is a deep, dark color. And I love the entrance. I mean, I wish that I could actually reserve my ticket, but needless to say, as a member of the Alpha Media team, can't do that. So I just had to live vicariously through everybody else. But it's a gorgeous house. You've outdone yourself, Brandi. So thank you for all of your design. And Carrie, I want to bring you on because today is the day of the ticket launch. What does that mean to our listeners?
Today is a big day. So this is the day that the campaign officially goes public. We're talking about it on your show today, on the other stations. Super exciting. But the big thing about today is that it's the tickets on sale prize deadline. And so those that reserve their ticket before midnight tonight are not only entered to win that gorgeous house that Brandi just told us all about, but also storm shelter or safe room and installation valued at $10,000 from Southwind Shelters and Safe Rooms. So if you get your ticket today, it's really the best way to go. I mean, I would get mine today if I could, for sure.
Absolutely. And the way to actually reserve the ticket now is on our Facebook page. For those of you who are just hearing us, you need to visit dreamhome.org now to reserve your ticket. And how many tickets are available this year?
This year, we are selling 7,500 tickets. And I just refreshed the page just a few minutes ago, and we are just over 1,200 tickets sold. They're gone.
Wow.
They're going fast. So you need to get yours now.
Well, and I love this because, of course, it's about getting a beautiful house, but even more so, it's about helping the kids and family of St. Jude. And so we're going to be talking with you more about that. But right now, we're getting ready to take a quick break, and we are going to learn about our first sponsor who has that a storm shelter and safe room that could be yours if you actually get your ticket reserved by the end of the day today. That's coming up on the Danielle Norwood Show on 580 WIBW. Today is the ticket launch for the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway, and we have your first look on the Danielle Norwood Show on 580 WIBW and FM News 104.9. And joining us is one of the major sponsors for the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway, Southwind Shelters and Safe Rooms, and we have owner Matt Cobb with us. Matt, thank you for being with us today. Okay, Matt, I think you're still on mute. I'll have you go ahead and click off so we can hear you. Can you hear me well? Okay, we're having a problem hearing Matt. Okay, Carrie, if you want to come on until we can get Matt on, we're having a few technical difficulties. So Carrie's going to come in and talk to us because, as you mentioned earlier, we could actually reserve our ticket today by midnight and win a $10,000 storm shelter from his company, which is Southwind Shelters and Safe Rooms. Talk about that.
Yeah, so Matt is an amazing sponsor. He's the tickets on sale price sponsor, Southwind Shelters and Safe Rooms. They're donating a storm shelter valued at $10,000 just in time for storm season. I know we're supposed to get some storms next week, so great timing if you're thinking about safety for your family. Reserve your ticket by midnight tonight, and you're in the running for that shelter. I know since Matt's not on with us just yet, I can tell a little bit about his story and his company. A few years ago, a tornado went by the Topeka area, and he realized, my family's not as safe as I want them and I need them to be. So Matt, he went on a mission to find a storm shelter that was perfect for his family. And he said, these shelters that I'm finding on the market, they're okay, but they're not good enough for my family. So he set out to design and build his own shelter. And he started a company right there in Topeka called Southwind Shelters and Safe Rooms. And he's on a mission to protect our families from weather, which is amazing. I think it's inspiring.
Absolutely. And of course, those of us who have been in Kansas forever know the importance of having some kind of place to go during, storm season. And Matt, can you hear us? Are you on now? Okay, we're still having problems with Matt's audio. Oh, that's so sad to me. But I want to be able to just give him props because I've always had a basement growing up. So if we needed somewhere to go, we were definitely down in the basement. But a lot of people don't have basements and they do need a place to get away. And, even living in an apartment, we're going to go in the bathroom, but that's not the most convenient place to be if there's some kind of storm activity going on. So I'm thrilled that Matt has put this together. And I believe that he's doing very well at it because, again, you live in Kansas, it's going to happen.
He's doing good. And I think what makes me feel so good about if you have a shelter from Matt is this shelter that he designed himself. He says, this is what I need for my family. And I say, if it's good enough for his family, that's all we need to know. And I think that family-oriented mindset that he has for his company is exactly why he's giving back to St. Jude to help families just like his, which is, inspiring.
And has he been a part of it the entire time?
So this is his second. This is his second year. Last year, we also gave away a storm shelter. So he's back for another year. And like I said, this is perfect timing with spring storms.
Yeah, it certainly is. Forget the snow that happened earlier yesterday. We all need to hunker down and think about, thunderstorms and tornadoes because, we are in the land of Oz. But I'm so thrilled that he and his company are a part of it. And what you and I are going to talk about, which we can give a little tease about right now, is the fact that this is so much beyond, the Dream Home giveaway or what we do at the Radiothon. This is about kids and families. Give us a little tease about what you're going to talk about in the fourth segment.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about, what is St. Jude and why is it important? What does St. Jude do? And then most importantly today, what can the Topeka community do to make the mission of St. Jude a reality?
Well, and the thing is that there are a lot of places that you could have a dream home all across the country. And we have been one of the fortunate ones because how many places do you choose during the year to build a dream home?
We're in about 45 across the country, 45 cities.
Okay. So, mind you, there are a lot of places that would love to be in the running for a dream home, and yet you've chosen Topeka. Why is that?
I think what's so amazing about Topeka, and of course, it's a little smaller than some of our large cities that we're in, but it's the community aspect. And what I love about the Dream Home, especially in Topeka, is it truly is a community service project for the kids of St. Jude. All of these different people from radio, from construction, from TV, all these partners that come together to create something beautiful to benefit the kids of St. Jude.
Absolutely. Well, we need to take another break to get the latest ag market news and weather. When we come back, we're going to hear a special story from a father who has seen firsthand and been touched by the impact that St. Jude Children's Research Hospital has had on his family. That's coming up on the Danielle Norwood Show on 580 WIBW and FM News 104.9, and now on Facebook at WIBW News. The St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's Dream Home ticket launch begins today on the Danielle Norwood Show on 580 AM WIBW and FM News 1049, and also on our Facebook page at WIBW News. And as excited as we are to talk about the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway, we need to remember the reason that there's a dream home in the first place, and that is to make sure that no child dies from cancer. Our next guest is a father of an area St. Jude patient named Grit. Please welcome Nolan to the Danielle Norwood Show. Nolan, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, Danielle. Thanks for having me.
It is my first time getting to talk to you, and I know that you were on the radiothon for our other stations back in February, but I didn't get a chance to interact with you. So would you tell us your story and the story of your beautiful little boy, Grit?
Grit's 3 years and 3.5 years old now, and this all started just before he turned 3 months. It was around Christmas time, and
oh, what a cutie!
Yeah. So I try to, when I'm telling this story, I try not to look at those pictures because I just get really emotional. But I've done it enough now. I can get through it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just before his 3-month birthday, and he had come up with flu-like symptoms. We really couldn't figure out what was wrong, and my wife took him to the doctor, and they just said, push fluids. He had a little bit of a fever, but not much. And he was just constantly uncomfortable, and we couldn't figure out why. And ironically, my wife knew something was wrong. She didn't know what, and she was watching TV, and all the Christmas St. Jude commercials come on. And I remember my wife saying, well, I know he's sick, but I'm glad he's not that sick. Well, it turned out he had a tumor a little bit bigger than a baseball sitting on his bladder and prostate. And that's what was causing the discomfort and the fever. His bladder had filled up. It had about 1 liter of fluid in it, and it had to be drained through a catheter. We had an MRI, an X-ray MRI done, and we were immediately told to go to our local children's hospital. And they put us in the hematology oncology floor, and that's kind of when we knew it was going to be cancer. And then on the 27th of December, that's when we got confirmed that it was cancer.
When you hear those dreaded words, what immediately goes through your mind?
For me, growing up how I grew up, I immediately was like, no, this isn't happening. And I was ready to fight. I'm a fighter. And for my wife, it was quite a bit of devastation. But she and I kind of just put our heads together and held our hands. And I was like, we're going to fight through this, and we're going to beat this. And the weird part, the hardest part was, you hear about kids getting leukemia or maybe a neuroblastoma or brain tumors, and we hear this strange word, rhabdomyosarcoma, and we're like, what? And turns out it's a super rare cancer. When he had it, when he was diagnosed, he was the youngest at that time to ever be diagnosed with this type of cancer.
Wow.
Ironically, in the 3.5 years we've been at St. Jude, they actually have found a kid. They found it in utero. So the technology and the process of learning about this stuff is ongoing. And, let me finish my story, and then I'll kind of circle back to that.
Okay.
Grit had the surgery to have his bladder and prostate removed in May. And we were on routine chemotherapy. The tumor had spread to his lung, and it came back to his lung in January of 2019. And at that point, our doctor, once this metastasizes, it's pretty difficult to get rid of, and it's a very rare circumstances that you will live. So that kind of hurt, but I just continued. I said, this is, we named him this. We didn't think it was for this reason, but he's got it, and we're going to beat it. And now He had the surgery to remove the tumor from his lungs. They put us on a chemo regimen was the original one that St. Jude used to treat rhabdomyosarcoma. And 2 years and a couple months later, last Tuesday, we found out that we had completed our treatment and we could move on to the maintenance chemo stage. And there was a point where we didn't know if we'd ever get there, and we got there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been very odd. I don't know if I've quite accepted. I mean, of course I've accepted and I'm excited, but I just, it's like now we're starting over and trying to figure out how to live this life that we haven't had. First off, the last year hasn't been normal.
Yes.
And then to add all this on top of it. But the one thing I can say is, why I'm here and telling the story, the hashtag St. Jude won't stop. They really won't. And, St. Jude's an incredible thing, and so many people want to be a part of it. And your small donation, your $100 ticket, where you could win it's still $100, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Your ticket, you're contributing to something. You're joining and you're being a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And ultimately, us people here in Kansas and then in the Midwest, we are all about community, and we're all about helping and taking care of our own. And it's a simple way to do it by purchasing a ticket. You're going to win a big, beautiful house if you're lucky enough to win. So, I will forever and always speak about St. Jude and tell my story. And Grit's finally getting to the age where he can kind of tell his story. And he's talking and talks too much sometimes. But he's exactly what you want in a little boy, a little kid in general. Energetic, lots of fun, sweethearted, kind, wants to help others. In 3 years, on December 27th, 2017, we didn't know if that would ever happen. So when I see the pictures and the progress, now the tears stream, but they're tears of joy and not tears of fear. They're tears of, this kid did it. I had nothing to do with it. I just made sure that I stayed strong for him the entire time, and he did it. So he did all the work.
And that's a huge piece of the puzzle too, because you and your wife being there for all of the treatments. And one of the things that I know that St. Jude does, which I didn't know prior to going to the Memphis hospital, is they try to make the situation as normal as possible. Would you talk about that with our listeners? Because the kids aren't in the hospital for very long at all. They try to get the parents involved. So you all are helping the kid to heal as much as they are.
Yeah, the best part about being a part of the St. Jude family is they try to make it so all you do is focus on taking care of your family, taking care of your children. Now, our situation was pretty difficult because I had to stay back home and work, and Laura had lived with Grit, so I was here with our daughter. But every week we would travel down there and stay. And we stayed at the Target House, which interesting, what modern mid-century, is that what that she called the house?
Yes. Yes.
It looks very similar. That kitchen looks very similar to the cafeteria kitchen area at the Target House in Memphis, which was designed by Chip and Joanna Gaines. So
no way.
Oh yeah, I was like, whoa, am I looking at the Target House here? So I don't know if she had seen it before and drew inspiration from it, but yes, you go there and there's nothing but games and toys and stuff for kids to do, and they bring in activities. And one of my favorite ones is they brought in the University of Memphis football team, which was pretty good the last few years, and they served pizza and popsicles to the kids, and there's always something going on. And when the basketball teams come in, sometimes they stop in and sign autographs and take pictures with the kids. And the weekend my mother-in-law was there. Wayne Selden, former Jayhawk great, was there
Yes.
playing, and she got to take a picture with him. And so there's all kinds of cool stuff to do where you're not constantly worried about cancer. You're not worried about treatment. The kids are having fun because all they want to do naturally is play, and it's just it's a big playhouse, and the accommodations are very nice and modern to keep parents comfortable. The beds are comfortable, and it's all paid for by buying a ticket for the dream home.
Yeah.
100% of that money goes to something important. It goes to children like Grit. It goes to families like mine. It goes to the very best doctors in the world doing this research that needs to be done to create these drugs and beat these cancers. And it goes to finding and paying for the best support staff, nurses, physical therapists, speech pathologists, everything. It's an amazing system. I don't know why every hospital in the world isn't modeled after this, obviously. But it's incredible, and they're a great place, and that's how we're gonna do it. That's how we're gonna beat cancer. I like to pick people to picture this like cancer's a big giant elephant, and all of us are just little ants. And one ant can't take down an elephant, but if we all start jumping on, and there's millions and millions and millions of ants on this elephant, we could take that thing down. And that's what it takes. It takes all of us. It takes our hope and our love and our financial donations when we can, and people like yourself, Danielle, that are getting the word out. And that's how we're going to do it. And we're going to do it. We're going to do this in my lifetime. I believe that.
I totally agree with you on everything you said. And one of my dream goals is to have a Norwood house. Like there's a Target house. I would like to have a Norwood house and to have it be as cool and there for the kids and the families. And, scripture says, if I could think it, God can do bigger. So that's kind of where my head is just to put my energies on making that happen before I kick off. So I so appreciate you, Nolan, and your story and being here. I can't wait to meet you in person and to meet Grit and your wife and your other daughter, and just to hug you all tightly and say thank you for everything that you mean to us and to St. Jude. You're an amazing inspiration. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another quick break. Carrie's going to come back on and give us information about how we can reserve our tickets today in order to be a part of this great mission with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's the Danielle Norwood Show on 580 AM WIBW and FM News 1049. Someone is going to win the 2021 St. Jude Dream Home and Aquarian Acres here in Topeka, and it could be you as we return with more details on the Danielle Norwood Show on 580 WIBW and FM News 104.9 and on our Facebook page at WIBW News. And Carrie Williams, who's development specialist for ALSAC and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, is back with us. And in the time that you have been a part of St. Jude, Carrie, I'm sure that you've heard numerous stories like Nolan's. Share with us how impactful our donor dollars really are.
I think the most impactful thing that I think about is that it takes about $1 billion a year to run that hospital. But 80% of those funds to run that hospital, they come from fundraising dollars from people like you and me. So the average donation made to St. Jude is only $43. Which means that hospital, that treatment, that saved grit, it is being truly funded by you and me, which I think is amazing. And Danny Thomas, our founder, when he founded St. Jude, he said that he would rather have $1 from 1 million people than $1 million from one person, because then that way he would have that many more people involved. And I think the St. Jude Dream Home just epitomizes that perfectly, because we are bringing all of these people together to make this house, to publicize this campaign, and then to reserve these tickets and make futures like grits possible, which I think is a beautiful thing.
And I love the motto, "We won't stop." We're wearing the St. Jude shirt, modeling it so coolly. And wewon'tstop.org is where people can go to learn more about St. Jude, but I love how you've come up with that talking point. Give us a little snapshot of what that means to all of us about St. Jude Won't Stop.
Yeah, St. Jude won't stop until no child dies from cancer. Since the doors of St. Jude opened, St. Jude has helped to push the overall childhood cancer survival rate from 20% when the doors opened in 1962 to more than 80% today. But I don't know about you, but for me, that 80% is not enough. We need to be at 100%. And that is why we won't stop until no child dies from cancer. And, I mentioned our founder, Danny Thomas, when he founded the hospital, he said, no child should die in the dawn of life. He didn't say no child in Kansas. He didn't say no child in Tennessee. He didn't even say no child in the United States. He said no child should die in the dawn of life. No child should die of cancer. So that's why we won't stop. And that's why we have campaigns like the Dream Home to make, like I said, futures like grits possible.
Well, it's amazing everything that you all are doing. I'm a partner in Hope every single month. I love doing it. And like I said, I'm so in love with St. Jude that I want a Norwood house someday. I'm just putting it out there in the atmosphere that I want families to be able to have a comfortable stay at St. Jude, because I'm committed to it, and I know all of my colleagues and Alpha Media and so many people around our community are committed. So before we wrap up, talk about the house real quickly and how we can reserve our ticket today and what we need to do before midnight to get in on that storm shelter.
Yep. So you have a chance to win a gorgeous home built by Drippe Homes. It's 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, approximately 2,800 square feet and valued at approximately $425,000. That could be yours just by reserving a $100 ticket at dreamhome.org. We are only selling 7,500 tickets, and they're going fast. I keep refreshing it on my phone, but you need to go to dreamhome.org to do it today. If you reserve it today, by midnight, you're also eligible to win a storm shelter or safe room and installation valued at $10,000, courtesy of Southwind Shelters and Safe Rooms. So it's a bonus.
Well, I hope everybody gets in on it as quickly as possible, especially to be entered in for that safe room and storm shelter. So thank you, Carrie, for everything that you've done behind the scenes. Thank you, Brandi. Thank you, Shayla, for keeping us together on the technical pieces. And that's going to wrap up today's Danielle Norwood Show. We'll be back again tomorrow. We won't be on Facebook, but we will be back again tomorrow right here on 580 WIBW. CBS News is next at the top of the hour of 2 o'clock. Please make the best of your day.